Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian McLogan, and in this video, I am going to show you how to simplify 18 different trigonometric expressions using the Pythagorean identities. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify each of these expressions either down to one trigonometric function or a number, and then we're going to use the Pythagorean identities. Now, to understand the identities, we just kind of have to go back to what we originally have kind of learned in our trigonometry, which was the fact that, that we started trig with the relationships of sides of a triangle. For instance, we have a right triangle, and let's call this theta. From there, we could talk about, sine was opposite over hypotenuse, tangent was opposite over adjacent, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, then if we take, what we did is we took that right triangle, we put it on an xy coordinate. And what that allowed us to do was to now say, well, this could represent the x, x distance away on this right on the coordinate system. This can represent y, and then this was r, right? Well, then what we did is we said, well, we could even simplify this process even further by creating this circle. And if rather than just using any number for r, let's go ahead and use 1. So what that allowed us to do was say, at any point that's on the unit circle, when you have sine, that's, y over r. Well, when r is 1 here, right, we just said then really sine is just y, and, cosine was just x. And remember, this coordinate point on that unit circle, which we called it because the radius was 1, was x comma y. Now, what's important here, though, is when we said that when you have a point on the unit circle, we said that, cosine of theta is the x-coordinate, and sine of theta was the y-coordinate. So this is very important because now what we could do is we could replace cosine of theta with x, and we could replace sine of theta with y. So what we came up with from this representation here was our first Pythagorean identity, which I told my students you are going to want to remember. If you forget the other two, that's fine, but you're going to want to remember cosine squared of theta plus sine squared of theta is equal to 1. And again, really, it's, x squared plus y squared equals 1 squared, right? Or cosine of theta squared plus sine squared of theta squared equals 1 squared, and 1 squared is just 1. Now, how do we get to these other identities? Because that's going to be important here. Well, again, if you remember when you're solving an equation, we can take this equation here. And remember, as long as we apply any operation to every single term, then we're not changing the value of the equation. So if I divide everything here by cosine squared of theta, then I'm still keeping this as an equation. What's important here, what happens is, cosine squared of theta divided by cosine squared of theta, anything divided by itself is just going to be 1. We know sine over cosine is tangent, so sine squared over cosine squared is going to be tangent squared of theta. And 1 over cosine is secant, so 1 over cosine squared is going to be secant squared of theta. And then we can do the same thing here with sine. So let's just go ahead and rewrite this one more time, plus sine squared of theta. And that's why I think it's so important just to remember cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1. Because then, what if you just divide everything by sine? Now, what we have here is cosine over sine is cotangent, but cosine squared over sine squared is going to be cotangent squared of theta. Sine squared over sine squared is going to be a positive 1. And 1 over sine is cosecant, so 1 over sine squared is going to be cosecant squared of theta. Okay, so now we have our 3 Pythagorean identities. And all we're simply going to do now is just manipulate these to simplify each one of these expressions. This first one actually, though, is not that bad. You can see 1 plus tangent squared. Well, we can see here 1 plus tangent squared is equal to secant squared. So I'm just going to write that one in. There's not really much manipulation that needs to happen. That's equal to secant squared. This next example, though, is one of those tricky ones that a lot of students have. So we recognize we have the cosecant and the cotangent. So I'm going to go ahead and take this equation here. I'll write the answer. I'm going to skip it here, or I'm just going to write an equals to, and then I'll come back to it. So let's write the Pythagorean identity here. So if what we want to obtain, now again, one quick little thing here is I believe in all these examples I'm using x instead of theta. And again, you could use any angle, right? X in this case does not represent this x, it represents the angle x. So in my Pythagorean identities, I use theta. You could have used beta, alpha, omega, anything really. And for this worksheet, I just decided to use x to represent the angles. So again, the x and the theta, though, are going to be interchangeable. All right, so I have cotangent minus tangent squared is going to equal that's what I need to obtain, right? Well, again, so if here's my Pythagorean identity that I just created, like how can I rewrite cosecant squared minus cotangent squared? Well, if I just subtract the cotangent squared on both sides, right? Then you can see that 1 is equal to cosecant squared of theta minus cotangent squared of theta. So you can see how we can manipulate each one of these identities to get a simplified result. So you can see that cosecant squared of x minus cotangent squared of x is just equal to 1. Exact same thing over here. So again, for the first 6, I'll kind of work on these slowly, and then we'll just try to do like some tricks to kind of get these done, soon, because we have 18 of them. So in this case, we have sine squared of x minus 1. Well, again, if we look at our original identity here, cosine squared of theta plus sine squared of theta equals 1. So if I want to get sine squared of x, minus 1, I need to subtract the 1 to both sides. But then I can't have the cosine here, so I'm going to get the cosine to the other side. So I'm going to subtract a cosine squared of theta on both sides. So therefore, on this left side, I have a sine squared of theta minus 1. And on the right side, I'm just left with a negative cosine squared of theta. So you can see here that the answer, sine squared minus 1, is going to equal a negative cosine squared of x. And again, I'm using x because that's what the equation that I chose to use. For the next example here, let's try to, since we already kind of did one, let's just kind of work in this because this would be the same here, negative sine and negative. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. So let's see here. So if I have negative sine squared of x minus cosine squared of x. Okay, well, actually, hold on. Yeah, so yeah, let's do this. Okay. So here's another way that we can look at it. Why don't I just, one way you could look at it is always take the identity and see how to manipulate it. The other thing is I know that sine squared plus cosine squared or cosine squared plus sine squared. Well, what happens if you factor out a negative? When you factor out a negative, you're left with a sine squared of x plus a cosine squared of x, right? Now again, what do we recognize for this sine squared plus cosine squared? Well, again, it doesn't matter if it's cosine plus sine or sine plus cosine. That's still going to be equal to 1. So therefore, that's going to be a negative 1. So you can see here how this answer is going to be negative 1. So sometimes you might just want to manipulate actually this equation. You don't know what it's equal to, but if you just kind of rewrote it by maybe factoring out a negative or rearranging some terms, you can see how it's going to represent one of those Pythagorean identities. So again, I'll do this for the next two. So for the next one, again, I just look at this, tangent squared of theta equals 1. Oops, I'm sorry, equals secant squared. And again, all I'm trying to obtain is, secant squared minus 1, so I'm just going to go ahead and subtract the 1. And there you can see that's just equal to tangent squared of theta equals secant squared of theta minus 1. Now, obviously, again, guys, we're just using thetas instead of x. So therefore, we'll just say this is going to equal a tangent squared of x. Just make sure you're using the x, not the theta. All right, for this next one here, again, if I kind of look at this, so we have a cotangent squared of theta plus 1 equals cosecant squared of theta. All right. Now, again, in this case, I need to get my cotangent squared to be x, or to be negative, and I need my 1 to be negative. So again, I could do that factoring out that negative again. And if you do it that way, then when you divide here, then you get that. Like if I factored out a negative, so again, one way is you could subtract them to the other side and then subtract the cosecant to the other side. Or you could also just say, well, if this is negative cotangent of theta minus 1, right, you could factor out a negative, and then if you divided both sides by negative 1, then you'd just be left with a negative cotangent squared of theta minus 1 is equal to a negative cosecant squared of theta. So you can use inverse operations like I did over here, like getting everything to the other side, or you could manipulate things. So those are some of the ways, just so I want you to think about it. But now, to not make this video way longer than it needs to be, now I'm going to kind of work through these as quickly as I possibly can. Well, not as quickly as I can, but I'm going to refer back to these signs. So in this case here, if I subtract the cosecant to the other side and then subtract the 1 to the other side, I will obtain my identity. Here's 1 minus secant squared, so that means I need to subtract the secant and then subtract the tangent, so that's going to equal a negative tangent squared of x. Sine squared plus cosine squared, again, doesn't matter on the order, guys, right? So therefore, that's just going to equal to a positive 1. Cosine squared minus 1. So again, if I'm going to subtract the 1, so it's cosine squared minus 1, that means I'm going to have a negative sine on the other side. Secant squared minus tangent squared, so let's go back up to there. So I have a secant squared minus a tangent squared, so if I subtract a tangent here, then I have secant squared minus tangent squared, so that's just going to equal to a positive 1. And this one is cosecant squared of x minus 1. So cosecant squared of x, minus 1, so that means I'm just going to subtract the 1 to the other side, so that's going to equal a cotangent squared. Cotangent squared of x. All right, so now I just got my last 3. Let's go ahead and rewrite the identities just so we can use them real quick. So therefore, I have sine of theta plus cosine squared of theta equals 1. I have 1 plus tangent squared of theta equals secant squared of theta. And then I have cotangent squared of theta plus 1 equals cosecant squared of theta. And again, if you're going to like change these around, like you could write this as cosecant squared minus 1 equals cotangent squared. Like it really just kind of depends. These are the ways though that if you can see how I created them, and that's kind of how I have them memorized. But again, if you don't have them memorized, as long as you remember cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1, you can go ahead and work to create those other 2 identities. All right, so now I have 1 minus cosecant squared, so that means I'm going to subtract the cosecant. That means I need to subtract the cotangent to the other side. So therefore, that's going to equal a negative cotangent squared of x. Tangent squared minus secant squared, therefore I'm going to subtract the 1 to the other side, so that's going to be a negative 1. If I have 1 minus cosine squared, that means I'm going to subtracting the cosine to the other side, leaving me just with a sine squared of x. Negative tangent squared minus 1. So that means I need to subtract the tangent squared and subtract the negative, or subtract the 1. That's going to leave me with a negative secant squared of x. 1 plus cotangent squared, that's cosecant squared of x. And 1 minus sine squared is just going to equal cosine squared of x. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Pythagorean identities is something that comes up a lot in our chapter on analytic trigonometry for simplifying, verifying, as well as solving trigonometric equations. So hopefully this helps, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Cheers.